Well, welcome back to my channel. I am Debbie. Today I have my massive cross-stitch conversion project where I am converting that into a diamond painting. I do have a playlist on this. I will be sure to put that up in the top of the eye. I will also put that underneath the description, so anybody that has missed any of it, or you're just not sure, or you're interested in a cross-stitch conversion, then you can look at those. And then of course ask me if you have any questions. I'll be glad to answer the best that I can. I am still learning as well, but I am having a lot of fun with this. So how is everybody doing? Let me know in the comments. Hope everyone is doing well and that you are able to spend some time for yourself. I know that that is really hard. I have a hard time doing that for me, but I am learning that it is something that's really important, that I need to have some me time, whether that is just taking a nice quiet bath or maybe even staying in the shower for a long time, whatever it may be. And diamond painting, I've been doing that quite a bit just to relax and also trying to get some exercise in. I really need to. I have osteoporosis and it is vital that I exercise, and sometimes I just don't want to do it. But I know that I have to, whether I want to do it or not. It's just something that I really need to do. And there are some days where it's just a struggle. Do I really want to? But I have started to exercise more and trying my best to get better. So we'll see how long that lasts. But so far, so good. It's just been so hot that I really can't get out and walk. And Paige and I really enjoy walking, but it is just so hot right now. It's too hot to take the dogs for a walk because it's not good for their feet. And it's just really hot for them just to be out walking in this terrible heat, even though they do go outside and they play. But I'm really careful of how long they stay out there. I don't like that either. Let's see. I'm trying to count. Give me just 1 second before I get started here. It has been a while, 2 weeks, since I have done this cross-stitch conversion with you guys, and I really missed it. I was really excited when I sat down and started working on this, and knowing that you guys were going to be here cheering me on and helping me with this project to spend some time on it. And over the past 2 weeks, I actually have gotten more done. I have finished the row that I was on, and that was really exciting because I feel like I had been on there forever. So I've gotten that finished, and then also I had finished another bottom of the first row that I was still working on, and so that's now done. So now I'm going back over and starting on another row. So we'll see how long that it takes me to get this one knocked out, this row, probably a long time. But I'm also trying something different. And I actually, just for something different that I enjoyed, I was watching Diamonds and Washi Katie as she was doing her cross-stitch conversion, and hers is huge, and she has gotten a lot done. And so I was looking to see, well, how does she go, how can she go faster? And she's faster than me anyway, just on a regular diamond painting, much less on a cross-stitch conversion. But I started looking to see what she was doing, and instead of just having 6 or X amount of specific squares, she started with the first square, and then she worked her way down depending on if the next square had that color. And so I tried doing that on the ones that I had left, and also the ones that were on the bottom, and it actually worked. I was really surprised, but it did go faster, or it seemed like it anyway, and it was more enjoyable. And so I am going to do that to see how that works out for me today and see if I want to keep doing that or if I want to go back and do X amount of squares. You know, I'm just not really sure yet, but I thought, you know, why not? Why not try something different? And if it doesn't work, no big deal. I'll just go ahead and I will go back and do exactly what I've been doing before. And I also have cover release papers that I'm going to use because once I cut a section of this canvas off, it doesn't want to stick. And I've had this problem with the bottom, it did not stick, and I thought, well, it's okay, it will be not a problem. But when I got down to the bottom, and it had been just open for a short time, the glue was completely dry. So I did use some glue. It is fine now, but I'm not sure exactly why that happened. I'm sure it was just me. Maybe I left it open longer than I thought I did, but I don't want to do that again. I don't want to have that problem. And if I do, I have the glue, but I would rather just make sure that it is protected. And I am really excited about this project now. I was enjoying it before, but it wasn't looking like much, to be honest. And so I wondered, well, did I mess something up? What have I done? Because it doesn't look like a picture. And so now it does. I can see that there are the start of 3 people on here. The third one is very pixelated, but it's also pixelated on the photo that I was looking at. So it's not me, but if you look really far from a distance, it looks fine. It's just, you know, looking at it close up, it's a little more distorted than the other ones, but I'm not done yet. So I just really started on that part. So maybe it will come together the more that I work on it, but I can see a tree and some branches. So I thought that was really exciting too. And then also there's a lot of roses that I'm seeing coming together. So now it is like a mystery because every time that I do even a little bit, I am able to see some progress. And I think that's really fun. I did show this one on my monthly review, and I got several comments on that. So that was a lot of fun too, just showing this one. And so I'll be doing that again. I would like to show it as soon as I get a section completed. That may take me the rest of the month. We'll see about that one. I'm at 17% as of right now, which my goal for this year was to have 20% complete. So I don't see that as a problem whatsoever of meeting that goal. Hopefully I will be able to. And then next year I'm going to make the goal even larger because I really want to spend more time on it. I would love to get this finished by the end of next year, but that would be very aggressive considering how many other WIPs I have going and also how long this project takes me. But I'm hoping that I'll get faster with time, and I'm already seeing that I am getting faster. I just have to decide what works best for me. And if it works out to where I'm just working on one square, and then if there's that same color in the next square, then go for that. So I don't know, but I think that's what everybody has to do when they do something new, is something that works for somebody else or even for everybody else may not work for you, but it may work perfectly on something else that no one else has ever thought of, or that's not like the most popular way of doing something. It doesn't matter, just as long as it works for you and you are enjoying the process. And I was enjoying the process either way. But to be faster, I am enjoying it even more. I'm not trying to rush or anything, but this is so large that I would like to see some progress. And if any of you are working on a cross stitch conversion, have you tried doing it this way, or are you just doing just counting how many squares you like to do and going in that direction? I have tried just doing one square at a time, and that just wasn't going to work. That just took too much time, and I thought, I don't think I'd ever get finished. And when I have time to sit down and spend some time on this, I want to be able to be productive as possible. Because this one I don't work on every day, just for the fact that I have other things to do. I have to kind of be in a quiet area to do this so I can think. And so that becomes problematic in my house, just because when everyone gets home, it gets kind of noisy, the TV's on, and that's okay too, but it just makes it easier when I can do this one and have a little more mental being. I need to move over one, I think. It is Thursday afternoon for me. I normally like to get these up a little bit earlier, but I had quite a bit of work to do. And I needed to get that done first and then start working on this one. I'm just going to do 4 squares while I'm talking to you guys instead of moving to another one. Just because. Let's see. I am going to look over some of the comments back from 2 weeks ago, since I was not able to do this video. So we have quite a bit to cover. Just trying to get into a good area where it'll be easy for me to do. And you are looking at this straight ahead. I'm kind of tilted sideways, so it may look a little strange. And to you guys, if you are looking at my Pattern Keeper app, it's kind of sideways for you guys. Okay, the first one is from Carrie. Carrie says, "Hi Debbie and Paige. It was so nice hearing you both. I'm excited you're getting something that's screened in so you can sit outside. That's going to be so nice. Paige, I'm sorry you spilled some drills. I bet if I did diamond art, I'd lose lots of them. Your canvases both look great, and I'm very proud of Maddie and Paige." So thanks, Carrie. And I did have my youngest on a WIP and chat. Youngest, relatively speaking. It's really funny that I keep calling my kids, oldest and youngest. Well, for those of you that are new, my youngest just turned 22, and my oldest just turned 25. So it's not like they are children, but my youngest does live with us. She has a special needs, and so she is living with us, and she wants to live with us, so I'm glad about that. And she had been going to school, and now she is waiting on another program to start. So she was home, and I thought, you know what, why not see if she wants to be a special guest on my WIP and chat. And I was surprised, but she did. She said she wanted to. And so she worked on her diamond painting, and I worked on mine. And at the very end, she spilled some of her drills. They were in her container, and so it just went on the table. It wasn't bad, but just towards the end, she had spilled them. And so she was kind of mad at herself for spilling her drills. I'm like, it's fine. It's no big deal. I spill them all the time. They're always everywhere in the house. And so she was kind of laughing on the WIP and chat. And so I'm like, just go ahead and clean it up. And, it's fine. Just try to save the ones you can. And it really, the way she was acting, so I couldn't really see her. The way she was acting was that she had spilt numerous drills. And so I was kind of concerned. And I'm like, well, let me look and see exactly what you spilled. And she didn't spill but just 5 or 6. And so I'm like, okay, just pick them up with your hand and it will be fine. And I've got that color if you need it. And so she was fine after that. But I said, it happens to all of us. We all spill our drills. And I was going to edit that out. And I thought, you know what? Why do I want to edit it out? Because we're always, everyone spills their drills. I think I need to move this one up one. I do. I put this on the wrong row. Let me move these up, and then that way I am where I'm supposed to be. And for those of you that do not know what a cross stitch conversion is, this is a blank canvas, as you can see, or I'm thinking you can see it, and you have to use a pattern, a cross stitch pattern for this particular kind of project. And so I had gotten my cross stitch pattern from Heaven and Earth Designs, and then I had to figure out how many drills that I needed and how large that I needed the canvas, and then go from there. So that is what I am doing, and that's one of the reasons why I like to save my drills, because after this one I want to do another one, and my next one that I want to do from Heaven and Earth is a max color, and it's over 200 colors. So I want to use as many drills that I have in my stash when I get that far, and it's going to be a while because I'm not going to start on that one before I do this one. I have a princess panel from Jaded Gem Shop that I would also like to do before I start on that one, because I've had that one for a long time. So that's kind of the plan. I'm trying to figure out where I am. So that is what I am hoping that I can do. And I may even start on the Jaded Gem Shop one before I finish this one. I'm just not sure if I want that kind of a commitment yet, but I might. I'm not really sure if I really want to do that. But it is smaller, and I have not looked at it. I bought it last year, so I don't know if the canvas has the actual numbers on it like this one does, which would be nice if it did. It's not going to be a deal breaker if it doesn't, but I really like having the canvas numbered, and if not, then I'll just get a Sharpie and I'll do that myself. That will be something that I can easily do. And my daughter does like to diamond paint. She doesn't do it often, but when she decides that she's in the mood to diamond paint and to work on her canvas that she's been working on for a while, then she'll work on it for hours. But she doesn't work on it every day. It's just every now and then she'll decide that it's time for her to work on it, and she'll work on it, and she will eventually finish it. And once she does, then I already told her we can hang it in her room if she wants to. And she loves Frozen, so it's Elsa from Mandy Manzano. When Diamond Art Club had all of the princess panels, I had gotten that one for her because I knew she was going to love doing it, and she has. Let's get ready for another color, and let's go to the next one. And this came from Jess. Jess says, Hi, Paige. Super fun to hear your voice after hearing so much about you and your sister. Gorgeous painting you have there. And I do tend to talk about my kids on my Tuesday WIP and chats, but I really have nothing else to talk about. I don't really do that much. I am a college instructor, and my life really centers around not so much as my oldest anymore because she is on her own. She has her own life, and she, has things going on. So, I get it. But she tells me, what's going on when I talk to her. And so I do talk about her, how she's doing. I talk about Paige, talk about my animals. There's just not a whole lot to say about me, honestly. I think I lead a very boring life, but a very good boring life, so I am okay with that. Okay, let's see what the next color is. I'm just going down the line here. Let's do, there's so many of these. I'm going to go to 938. That was almost my next one, and I almost tipped this whole bottle over. That would not be something unusual. I don't do that when I'm just doing this on my own, but if I'm on camera, I do something silly. And I don't mean to, it just happens that way. And the next one is from Lisa. Lisa says, "Hi Debbie, it must be so nice to have Paige as your DP buddy and helping with chores. I think you should have her on more WIP and chats. I haven't had anything stick to my glue, but I bought baby wipes in case that happens. Just wondering if you cover the area you use a wipe on for 24 hours. I would think it would dry up if not." And what I did, or what one of us did, I'm not sure, but we were diamond painting, and it wasn't during my WIP and chat, thank goodness, but we were diamond painting, and Paige was working on her Elsa, and then all of a sudden I looked over and I said, "You've got some paper stuck to your diamond painting." And it was paper that was sitting on the table, and it was for something. I forgot what it was for, but it was something of mine. And it was on her canvas. And so I told her that we had to get that off. So she tried to pull it off, and it was sticking. So not good. So she was getting really worried and upset. And she's like, "I did this whole thing, and now I'm going to have to throw it away." And she said, "It's my fault because I probably just laid it on there." And so I told her, I said, "No, don't throw it away. It can be fixed. We're going to have to stop what we're doing, and we're going to do this right now." Well, I have heard how to handle these situations. And so I thought, okay, now we're going to have the test here if this really works. And I had baby wipes because I use those when I make cards to wipe my hands and sometimes wipe my stamps off using baby wipes, and it gets the ink off. So I went, got the baby wipes, and I said, "Let's put the baby wipes on here." We got all the paper off, but a little bit. There was some that we just could not get off. So I told her, we'll try the baby wipes on that one. So we did, and sure enough, the baby wipes worked. I was so excited that we were able to get the paper off. And so I told her that, now the paper is off, but what we're going to have to do is put the baby wipes directly on your canvas where you have lost the glue. And then we're going to just leave it, and then we will come back and we'll see if the glue has reset and it's sticky again. So we did that. I did not cover it up. I left it open for several hours. It wasn't all night, but it was several hours. Left it open, and we came back, and it worked like a charm. It was amazing. So it does work. We did not cover it up. I don't know if you're supposed to, but we didn't. And it worked just as if the glue was on there from the very beginning. So I told her, we need to be more careful, but at least we know that this does work. And then if it didn't, if we'd gotten the paper off, but she didn't have any glue, then I had some adhesive glue that I was going to put on there for her, but we didn't need it. So that was definitely a plus. But I was like holding my breath there for a while because I thought, if this is messed up, she's going to be so upset. And the worst part of it is, she's like, well, I'll have to get another one and start all over. And I'm like, you can't get another one because these are discontinued. And to find this one is going to be very difficult. Not only is it going to be difficult, it is probably going to be very expensive. Any of the princess ones that I have found that anyone is destashing, they have been really, really pricey. So I was so glad that we did not have that issue, that she was able to get everything off of there, and that we were able to salvage it. Trying to see on this rip. But it worked very well. So now I can say that I have tried that and it does work. Because at first I thought, well, everybody says it does, so I'm sure it does. And I'm not going to try it just to be trying it. So now I can honestly say, yes, for me, that did work. It worked wonders. This one has quite a bit of the same color, and I could use my multi-placer, but I am so used to using a single placer on this one that I just decided might as well just single place it. Also helps when I'm counting. If I single, I don't want to go over too far. 939, that one always throws me for a loop because it is a dark square on here, and when it lights up on Pattern Keeper, it is very hard to see, so I'm usually missing that one. So I'm trying to look at the numbers and see when I get to 939 to look very carefully to see if I actually have any of those drills that need to go there. Right, so now the next one, I'm moving down a little bit. Okay, Deborah said, I so enjoyed listening to you and Paige today. Her diamond painting is looking so pretty. A big one for her very first one. I'm behind on some of your videos. With my son's help, we did get my bedroom and craft room all cleared out and organized. It is so nice to be able to find things. I donated a lot of craft supplies. It was nice to see others excited to get them. Hope you have a great week. And thanks, Deborah, and so glad that your son was able to come over and help you with your craft room. I know that you had a lot going on in that room. I'm glad you didn't have to do that by yourself, because I know that for me, that was a lot of work on my craft room. I am still going through and still in a purging mode, which I don't know if that's good or not. I'm not so sure exactly, because now I have a big mess in there that I was hoping would not be so messy at this point. So I've worked on it throughout the summer, but now I've got to just figure out on some things where I want to put some things, and that's kind of where I am. Once I decide exactly where I want some things to go, then I will be able to get my craft room back in order. And my husband was so funny because he went down there yesterday when I was down there for just a little bit before dinner, and he said, I don't think you're ever going to get this room straightened up. And I said, yeah, I'm eventually going to. I just don't know exactly what I want to do. And then he started laughing and he said, well, probably what's going to happen is that you are going to decide where you want everything, and then once you decide where you want it all, then whenever you make that decision, then we're probably going to move. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. That's what happened last time, is that I had just gotten my room fixed the way that I wanted it, and then we decided we were going to move, and we didn't know where we were going to move. We just knew we were ready. And I went ahead and started boxing things up just so we could show the house and getting things ready. And then I had to start all over again. But we will see. Okay, the next color is, there's just so many dark ones in the top. I should be getting to, there's a few of these, 3031, which is on the bottom, of course. Let's see, 3031. Looking at this upside down is not easy. That's 33. 3031. This one's a dark brown. I'm not sure on the top. It's a lot darker than what the other towards the middle and the bottom are. So I'm not sure what this is going to look like. It may be part of a tree, part of the tree that started in the middle and it's going up. So not exactly sure, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to look like. Get this one. I just cannot talk and diamond paint. I mean, I can, but I can't read. I should say that a little better. I cannot read and diamond paint at the same time. I lose my place, and I just can't do it. And usually I'm really good at multitasking. I mean, I am a teacher. I have to multitask quite often, but I just can't do that with diamond painting. I wouldn't think it would be that difficult, but it kind of is. Or at least for me, anyway. Got another one over here. I'm liking these purples. These are really pretty. And some of these colors I haven't really used yet, so that's kind of fun. I am going to need to fill up my containers, some of them anyway, and that's exciting because that means I've used quite a few drills. Let's see. Oh, about a long way to go though before I see any zero drills where I've used all of them. That is going to be a while. I'm finally getting some down here at the bottom. Okay, let's see. That was Deborah. Jamie says, hi Debbie and Paige. It was nice to have Paige join you. I love her Elsa painting, doing great for such a big first piece. I got some work done on a cross stitch today. Thanks for the company. See you later. And thanks, Jamie. Glad you were able to get some cross stitch done. That's always fun to be able to work alongside somebody, even if you're not exactly next to them. I like to do that also. I also have a Zoom meeting or call that I do with my card group, and we're not together, but we are together. We're all at our own homes, but we'll Zoom, and we're able to talk, to see each other, to run ideas off of each other of what we're working on. So it has been a lot of fun. My cat is sitting right on the top of my container, or my case, and she was sound asleep. Like, of all places, why do you have to be right there? let's see, let me do this one, 3834, trying to see what is up at the top. That's on the first one. Okay, the next one is Lori. Lori says, hi, Debbie and Paige. Really enjoyed your whip and chat. Paige, you're doing an awesome job on your painting. And thanks, Lori. This was her first painting too, and it was a big one. Whenever I had asked her, because she was diamond painting one day with me, she came in when I was diamond painting, and she said, I want to diamond paint too. Can I try yours? And so I'm like, sure. So I showed her, and she did quite a bit on mine, and then she said, can I have one? And I'm like, well, of course you can. And so I told her, I said, I've got several, but I think that you would really, I said, I know how much you love Princess. So we were looking at all of my different ones that I had, and she saw Elsa, and I knew as soon as she saw that one that she was going to want it. And she did. And I told her, I said, but this one's kind of big. And she said, that's okay, I don't mind. I'm like, as long as you don't mind, it's good. And I hadn't been diamond painting that long either when she wanted to learn to diamond paint. So I didn't think anything of it being so large, didn't even faze me. And so now if she would come back and say, I want to learn how to diamond paint, then I would say, okay, why don't we try something that is a little bit smaller, get used to it, and then if you like it, then you can have a bigger one. But no, she is like me in the way that she likes to do something. If she's going to do it, she's going to go all the way in, and it's going to be something rather large, which is what I did too. And then with Madison, when she wanted to diamond paint, I had really just started. We started together, and I said, I bought some of these, and you can choose. One didn't have that many. And she saw one that she really liked, so she decided to get it, and it was a square. Well, I didn't know anything different about squares or rounds, had no idea. So her first one was a square, and I don't think she has done a round. She's done a square, but she only did the one, and then she got really busy with school and didn't get back to it. But she started with a square, and she said, I don't see why everybody says this is hard. I'm like, well, it's not, but you think that it's different because of the fact that that's what you learned how to do. Let's see. Okay, here is another Deborah. The other one was O-R-A-H, and this one is D-E-B-R-A. This is, hi Debbie, hi Paige. It was nice to have you on with us. Your painting is beautiful. I don't think I've ever mentioned that I worked in the finance department of Bluebird Midwest in Mount Pleasant, Iowa for 16 years. I mentioned because our home plant is in Fort Valley, Georgia. Flew down there probably 8 to 10 times over the years. I talked to the girls who were my counterparts down there every week. We used to laugh at their response to a snowflake sighting. They would close the factory early. We would have blizzard watches and still work the entire 10-hour day. I left Bluebird before they shut the Mount Pleasant plant down to pursue my master's in social work at University of Iowa. I guess it's a good thing I did so. I had further education and a new career by then. LOL. And thanks, Deborah. Yeah, it is crazy in Georgia, around here anyway, that whenever we hear the word snow, they pretty much shut the schools down. And it's kind of comical because you look at all these other cities and they don't do that, and their kids go to school in a blizzard, and our kids, one snowflake, and it's like, oh, the school's got to shut down. But we did have an issue a few years ago, And I will say it was really bad. They waited too late, let the schools out all at the same time. Work was getting out, and it was a problem. It was actually a major problem, and a lot of people had a hard time getting home. I was one of those people, and it just was not fun. I'm trying to see where I am exactly. Okay, that one goes here. And now that Paige is out of school, I don't have to worry about it. But when she was in school still and I heard it was going to snow, I went up there and got her. Like, I am not taking any more chances like that. That was absolutely horrible. We'll never, ever do that again. Because it took me over 6 hours to go 2 miles down the street. And I didn't think I was going to get home. I had to end up parking at a school that was close to our house in order for me to even be able to get to our house. We just parked there, and I told Paige, we're going to have to walk the rest of the way. So we ended up having to walk half a mile, which wasn't bad, but I didn't think we would ever get home. And after that, I said, nope, no more. Next time that I hear it's going to snow, I'm picking my kids up. Madison had to walk home that day from school, did not have a key to get in the house, and so she had to go over to our neighbor's house, and she didn't even take a coat to school. So she went to school, and it was not good. It was not good at all that she had to walk when it was snowing without a coat. I couldn't get to her, so I did not have a choice. My neighbor was scared at that point. She's like, I don't think I can get out either. And so we both decided, it's better. She was older, decided it's better. Do not get out. It's okay. We are just going to have her go home and everything will be fine. And that's what we did. It just wasn't worth it. But that scared me enough to where now it's like, I'm not putting up with it. It was funny until then, but it really is about the snowflakes. And now it's gotten worse because the entire city was ridiculed because they did not let people out. Kids were stuck overnight in schools. And so that wasn't good either. Especially the younger kids, because they couldn't get the buses to them. They waited too late. Okay, the next one is from Denise. Hi, Debbie and Paige. Thanks for coming on here and talk about life and whatnot. It's nice to be able to work on my painting and not worry about missing something. Take care. And thanks so much, Denise. Glad that you're able to get some work done. Glad that we're able to keep everybody company. When I first started my channel, I thought, what am I going to do? All of these people are doing WIP and chats, and I don't think I would want to do a WIP and chat. I don't think I have anything to say. There's nothing that's going to be, really funny or anything that I can really talk about. And so wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And so now somehow I always find something to do, something to say on my WIP and chats. I never have a problem. And you guys must seem to like it because you keep coming back. And I am definitely thankful for that. Let me get these S's out of the way. The top part is almost done. That's kind of cool. I'm trying to watch the time. I do not want to go over an hour. Trying my best to not go over an hour. I had to on one of my reorganization videos that I did recently, and I figured you guys wouldn't mind too much of me having to go over. I wanted to get it finished. I didn't want to go into a fourth one. There wasn't really enough to do for 37, 26. Where am I? Okay. Okay, so the next one is from Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, "Hi Debbie, good morning. Say hi to Paige. Yes, I worked on my Dachshund puppy for Ocean Life 23. Hurricane Hilary hit the coastal area, but where I live in Downey, there was lots of rain. She doesn't know about the damage. She thinks LAX was closed because she's in a landing pattern. She didn't hear any planes coming in for landing. She went through a Cat 2 hurricane in August of 74, which was an experience. And there was also a volcano that was erupting at the same time. So they had wind, rain, earthquakes, and the smell of sulfur." And she's discussing about Maui and then their wildfires. And she is going, she may already be there, but I know that Elizabeth was going to Maui, and she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to go because of all the fire. And so she was, concerned about that. And of course, everyone that knew her, was concerned about her going too. And she has a timeshare that she likes to go to. So hopefully she is having a good time at her timeshare, and that she's going to be able to come back and give us some really good updates on Maui and the area around there. That was really scary, all those fires. A lot of people that I had read about, they've lost their homes. There were several that didn't lose their homes, but their businesses were destroyed, so they don't have a place to go to work now. So that's really sad and scary. 9:38. And I have never been to Hawaii. I don't know if we ever will, but it was at one point on my wish list. My husband does not like to fly. He's never flown. He says he's not going to. So because of that, I am not so sure, that will ever go. I have my sound on. Sorry, guys. Let me go back to the WIP and Chat. I just finished a WIP and Chat, so now I'm going to go back to another one that's on now. I have it on silent. Okay. And this one, let's see. This was not this week, but it was last week for my WIP and Chats. So I'll go through those, trying to, because I could get a color. 9:38. Let me get started on this. It's just a few at the top here. Hope you guys are able to get something done while I work on this. That's one of the reasons why I like doing this particular one on Saturdays, is that there are several that have told me that they like to be able to listen and be able to spend some weekend time diamond painting. So I thought this would be really good. I will keep doing this particular post because it seems like everybody likes it. This one is, now I'm on the second one. So I finished one of the 10. I can put this one up. And the next one is from Karen. And Karen says, "I'm so sorry about your dad, your friend. He was such a kind person. He always made me feel like part of the family when we were kids. I love how he got the name Happy and his reaction to it." And Karen was and still is, a very close friend of mine. And she would go on weekends when I was visiting my dad when I was younger. And because I didn't know anybody there, didn't have any friends in his city where he lived. And so he always told me, you can bring somebody. And then he really liked Karen. And so I didn't even have to tell him, who it was. He would always, he would always approve of her. And then, other kids, if I were to invite somebody, he'd want to, meet their parents and talk to them and everything. And so it was just really cool when I would tell him, it's Karen. Karen, I want to invite Karen to come. And he would always say, yeah, not a problem. We enjoy having her. So that is my really good friend, Karen. So thanks so much, Karen, and I appreciate you listening. Let me get this one off of here. I'm on 9s now. And the next one is from Deborah Allender 7444. I don't like to say like last names, if that is a last name, but because there's more than one Deborah on here, I probably should. So she says, I want to express my sincere condolences on the loss of your dad. I loved hearing you talk about him. He sounds like a pretty awesome guy. His relationship with his granddaughters, especially Madison, is so very touching. I really enjoyed the story behind the name for him, Happy. Thanks, just the coolest grandparent name. Oh, sorry, that's just the coolest grandparent name, and I'm thrilled for all of you that Madison will be able to be home if only for a few days. You need her presence, Debbie. It sounds like she will be a huge help to you. You all remain in my prayers. I'm including your sister and stepmother. It will be such an adjustment, especially with her illness, I'm sure. Be kind to yourself and take care. Don't worry about the channel. We'll be here when everything quiets down. LOL, you're the best. Big hugs. Thanks so much, Deborah. I really do appreciate it. It has been a rough few days, actually a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks now. Still trying to adjust. It's kind of one of those things where I know, obviously, that he is gone, but sometimes I just kind of forget because my dad was always there. And so now that he's not, it's just been major adjustment. But I know that it's even harder for my stepmother and my sister because my sister was with him all the time. And of course, my stepmother, they were married for 48 years. And so that's a really long time to be married, to be around someone all the time, and then all of a sudden that person is no longer there. So I totally get that. And I do feel, I feel sad for my kids and for me too. I'm not saying that I don't. It's been really hard, but I am trying my best to adjust and trying to just think of happy times. His name was Happy. My daughter, Madison, named him Happy. There was a funny story about that. And I did include that on one of my WIP and chats. But he wanted to be called Pappy forever and ever. And whenever I was younger, he would say that was his name whenever I had kids. And so I'm like, okay, if you want to be called that, it's kind of strange, but, I'll go with it. And so when Madison was little, she had some problems with her ears, and that caused her to have some problems hearing for a short time. So when we kept saying Pappy, she thought he said happy. And so from then on, he was not her Pappy, he was her Happy. And so when Paige came along, I asked him, I said, Madison's older, I can tell her, if you want me to, that she needs to start calling you Pappy. And he's like, absolutely not. I think happy is the best thing ever, and none of my friends are happies. They're all granddad or, something else, but they don't have the name Pappy. So he stayed as Pappy, and my kids were the only ones that called him that. They were his biological grandchildren. He did have 3 others. One is a step, and really both of them are, but they were like his grandchildren. And so he embraced them as his grandchildren. I'm glad that he did. And they just called him by his name, because when they met him, they were all older. And so they just called him Tom instead of calling him Happy. So he was my kid's Happy, and he was only Happy to them. Which, you know, if the other kids wanted to call him Happy, they could have too. I'm not saying they couldn't, but that was mainly reserved for my kids. So they will always remember that, and that was very special for all of us. But thanks to all of you that have made comments, have sent me personal messages, or you posted underneath the community tab. It is definitely appreciated and definitely seen. I think this is Rochella 5451. If I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, I do apologize. I am the worst with names. Rochella says, I'm so sorry for your and your family's loss. I hope the precious memories give you comfort during this difficult time. Your dad sounded like an amazing man. Thank you for sharing with us. And thank you so much, Rochella. The next one is Alexis. Let's see. It's either Alexis or Alex. I think it's Alexis. It's hard to tell on some of these names when it's just one. But it says, sending you a big hug. I'm so sorry for your loss. May his memory be a blessing. Thanks again. And then Carol says, I am so terribly sorry, and I'm keeping you and your whole family in my thoughts and prayers. You know that I lost both my parents last year, and it's just something that takes some time to come to grips with. But you will get there, and the memories will be happy ones. I hope that all the wonderful memories you have of your dad will be a true blessing to you and your family. And thanks, Carol. And I do remember when you lost both of yours as well. And I cannot imagine losing both so close together. It was hard enough for us losing my dad. And so I just cannot imagine losing both. I mean, I have also lost my mother, but my mother has been gone now for 10 years. And it's still hard with her. And we knew that it was going to be soon. And I was able to tell her bye and to talk to her before she got so sick that she didn't know, what was going on. But with my dad, it was just very, very sudden. I am trying to see what I'm doing here. This one should have been moved up. Okay, there we go. Once I get some of this filled in, then it's kind of hard to figure out what goes where. Here's that one. I think we're almost at the hour, but I'm going to keep going until I get to the end of this one. That was Carol. And then we have Deborah 9308. And she says, I am so sorry for your loss. I know it can be really hard. My prayers are with you. I lost my mom 2 years ago and soon after found diamond painting. It helped me a lot with my grief because I didn't have to think too hard while I painted. Hang in there. I'll be thinking about you and your family. And diamond painting has helped me so much because when I start to feel sad or overwhelmed, I can just go in my craft room and I can just sit and diamond paint for just a little bit. And even for just a short time, it does help to clear my mind, to make me think of other things or not think of anything at all. And sometimes that's even better. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what all of this is. I am missing a couple here from this one, 780. Diamond painting has been such a lifesaver, and not just during this time, but a lot of times it has really, really helped. The next one is Christina 406 Diamonds. I am so sorry, Debbie, for your loss. I will keep you and your family in my thoughts. It was really kind of scary to me to think about submitting the application to the retreat, but I did it, so now I wait. I am in Montana, so it's quite a trek, but I would be super excited also if I was to get in this year at my first retreat, try and have a good week. And thanks so much, Christina. And if any of you are wanting to apply for the Great Lakes retreat, the retreat that I went to last year, make sure that you do that before Sunday, because Sunday is going to be, I don't know if they're going to do the random picker on Sunday, or if they are doing that after Sunday. But I think, I know that it was the 9th, something to do with the 9th. But make sure if you're wanting to go that you go ahead and fill the application out soon. And you can go to Jennifer Roberts either on Facebook, or you can go to her YouTube. And if you need that link, let me know and I'll be glad to send it to you. But they are doing their first, or I guess it would be considered the second drawing, because the first drawing were for those that went this year. We were able to draw first, and she drew 35 from the ones that went last year, and 62, I believe, were the ones that went this year. So I did get in, and I'm excited about that. There is a couple of other people, or at least one, that I'm really hoping that gets in, because she wants to get in just really, really bad. And so hopefully Christina will get in, as well as my other friend. It'll be nice to meet you. And it is a lot of fun. It's a little scary at first when you first go. You don't know everybody or anybody really, but then it becomes a lot of fun. So Brenda MK7JD says, I am so sorry for your loss of your precious loving father. Take care. Thanks so much, Brenda. And I think this is Lori Lawn 7275 says, so sorry, Debbie. It's hard losing a parent. I lost my dad. It will be 4 years in September. He was my go-to person. You just miss them so much. You and your family are in my thoughts and prayers. And thanks so much. And sorry for your loss as well. That has not been very long. And Tammy says, my prayers are with you and your family. Hate to hear about your father passing. I lost my father 5 years ago. I still miss him dearly. I can tell you it gets easier. Love and God bless you. May he be with you during this difficult time. And thanks so much, Tammy. And I can definitely feel the love from everybody. It's just been amazing how I've just felt so comforted. And I know that that is really, really important. And my church has been really supportive of us. They've called to check, make sure that we're all okay. And if we need anything, so they have been really wonderful. So the next one is Dusty's color. I am so sorry for your loss. You and your family are in my heart and thoughts. Take care of yourself and your family. And thank you so much, Dusty. And then we have Elizabeth. And Elizabeth says, I'm so sorry for the loss of your dad. I'm working on Dotson Puppy from Temu. Originally started for Ocean Life 23. The event ended on the 27th. She's going to finish the canvas before she leaves for Maui on Saturday. And then she says she upgraded her and her friends that are going to business class. The tickets say first class. And then she says that her friend will go to Mount St. Helens when she sees her credit card bill. I booked the flight. She booked the flight with Priceline. And then she says that Maui needs visitors, and her friend wants her to bring all the groceries. And then she says that the city that they're going to is a city, and they do have a grocery store, so she plans on going to the grocery store there. So I am assuming this was a week ago. So I'm assuming that Elizabeth right now, I'm just assuming that Elizabeth is in Maui right now. So I hope that she is having a great time. And then when you get back, Elizabeth, and you listen to the WIP and chat, let me know about your time. How much fun was it? I think getting away would be a lot of fun. And I don't know what all is available and open in Maui because of the fire. But I know that she said that she was checking to make sure that it was okay to go, and that the governor there says that they need tourism in order to bring money in. Let's see, 1, 2, okay, 1, 4. And as soon as I finish with this WIP and chat, I will go ahead and stop. I will not get this bottom section finished, and that's okay. I think I have one more to go on this one. Let me see how many more I have. Oh, I have quite a few more. Let's see. I don't want to stop in the middle because then I'll never remember where I stopped. Marie Louise says, I am very sorry for your loss. It is so hard to lose a beloved family member. And that is definitely true. And then Sherry says, very sorry for your loss. May your happy rest in peace. That's very sweet. Thank you. And then Anonymous is cool. And I just love that name. Anonymous is cool. So sorry for your loss. And then Jennifer and Diamond says, sorry to hear about your dad. And I do appreciate all of those comments. And then Lori the video wasn't working for some reason. And so she asked me if there was a problem with the video. And I looked and I couldn't find any issues. And then she came back and said that it was then working, which I'm really glad, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have known what to do, because on my end, it looked fine. But I was just a little concerned because I thought, now, how do I fix this when I don't know? I can see it, I can hear it. And then there was a couple others that had already commented, so it may not have been working, and all of a sudden it was. So hopefully no one else had any problems, and thank you for letting me know that there was an issue going on there and that it was all resolved. So I completed almost 4 sections. I don't have that much to go really on the rest of what I have. I stitched 300 stitchings today, or 310 diamonds. I am at 17.40%, and I have overall laid down 13,120 drills, but I still have 75,400 to go. So getting there, but when I see the 20% mark, I'm going to be super duper happy, because that means I at least met the goal. I'm going to call it good here today, since we are at the hour mark, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes over possibly. But once I edit it, it'll probably go down to an hour or close to it. Want to thank you for being here today. Really appreciate it. And if you were working on something, hopefully you got something done as well. Hope to see you on the next video. And until then, happy diamond painting. Bye.